motoring public was then still permitted to traverse underneath on the public roadway.
Recording has started.
And then the building, or then the bridge collapsed. It seems to us, and it would be the opinion of our firm, that there was certainly a failure throughout the course of this project. We look at what happened, and our complaint that was filed this morning lays out the allegations that we believe we're going to be able to prove through the discovery process. Obviously, in any case, there's a discovery process to prove whether or not allegations are true or whether or not allegations are false. And so we look forward to working towards getting to the bottom of exactly what happened. But when we look at this from a much broader vantage point, if we assume that the facts that have been reported are true, then it appears as if the building team might have had knowledge that the bridge was in a dangerous condition, did not close the roadway, rerouting traffic, and then ultimately a failure resulted. Now, it's been reported by Senator Rubio and others that there might have been some post-tensioning work going on with this particular bridge after it had been installed and while the motoring public was still traveling underneath. That is an additional question that we would want answered. If there's a crack in the bridge and if there's post-tensioning work going on, why is the motoring public still able to travel underneath the bridge? And that's a fundamental question that needs to be answered in this case. And as a result of the failure of this bridge, the lives of many families throughout the state have been changed.
Welcome back to News Now. We are joining live a news conference regarding a lawsuit being filed after the Florida bridge collapse. Let's listen in.
Of this bridge. This morning we filed a complaint on behalf of one of those individuals, Marquise Hepburn. Mr. Hepburn was on his way to work, traveling underneath the bridge, at which point in time the bridge failed. A car then veered into his direction, striking him and knocking off his bike as he was on his way to work. He sustained a severe injury, and he's been treating with his doctors. He's one of the individuals that you see reported that was transferred to the local regional hospital. We sit here today as fact finders attempting to solve the pieces or putting the pieces of this puzzle together to see exactly what caused this tragedy. At this juncture, the allegations contained within our complaint have been filed, and we will now set forward to attempt to prove those allegations in a court of law. It's important for the public to know that we will do everything to hold any responsible entity accountable for what happened in this tragedy. I know there is a public outcry right now for accountability for those who might be responsible, and we will do everything in our power to hold any entity that might be responsible for causing this harm and these losses accountable. When we evaluate these claims, we see that there are reportedly a number of deaths. Over 15 people were either injured or killed as a result of this tragedy. When we assess the value based upon our collective experience, we believe that the value of these claims could be somewhere between $500 million to $1 billion for the bodily injury portion, for the wrongful death portions of these claims that might go forward from this date forward. It's a significant loss with significant consequences. And through the discovery process, we believe for our individual client that we'll be able to put the pieces of this puzzle together, of this tragedy. So at this time, we welcome any questions that you might have about our filing and about the case in general.
When did you initially speak to Mr. Hepburn?
Mr. Hepburn contacted our office, I want to say on Friday.
What condition is he in now?
Well, he sustained spinal injuries, so he's in the process of determining exactly the extent of the injuries. We haven't gathered his medical records yet. They're not available to us. But he has been in a bad state since this occurred. He remains in a bad way, and he's recovering. He's on a variety of different medications, and he's going through the recovery process.
Can you tell us a little bit about his routine, his family? Who is waiting for him maybe to walk again?
Well, Mr. Hepburn, as many of you might be aware, wants to protect his privacy and most importantly his family's privacy, which is why we haven't released his name until it was part of a public document which was filed today. So in respect for him and his privacy, we want to keep his family out to a certain
How
extent.
confident are you that the NTSB and the other authorities investigating this are going to get to the bottom of it?
Well, part of the reason that we filed so timely and worked for countless hours, essentially every hour this past weekend, was to make sure that we had an engineering team that was on the ground from the very beginning that could put the pieces to this puzzle together for us to show us what happened. In addition to what has been sent to the various entities, we have our own internal, what's referred to as spoliation of evidence letter, that is about as detailed and thorough as one could have to ensure that all entities who might be responsible secure any and all data and documentation that might be related to this particular loss. So there's going to be some redundancy by way of our investigation to ensure that everything is protected and everything is preserved for the appropriate inspection. I'm confident that we will find answers to exactly how this occurred.
Let me add one thing, Keith Metnick. The bottom line is the governmental agencies typically do their job, and we'll be relying on them to do their usual good job, but we're not comfortable just delegating that. We have our own team of folks, and we're going to look at it, and we're going to double check it, and we're going to make sure we don't have answers, but we have all the answers.
Matt, I know it's obvious, but why are you filing this lawsuit? Clearly you feel like somebody dropped the ball.
With any lawsuit, there's a couple of different factors that you need to take into consideration. With this particular lawsuit, it goes above and beyond compensating the victims and their families, and it goes to protecting the motoring public and making sure that something like this doesn't happen again. We believe that part of this verdict will likely be to send a message to others that are in this particular field to make sure that when you're conducting any type of construction activity, that you do so in the safest way possible. So there's two factors. One, to compensate the victims for their loss, which for the people that have lost loved ones, there's no price tag that you can put on the loss of a family member. Their lives and the way that they have lived their lives are forever changed and altered. Nothing's going to change that. Money is not going to bring these particular people that lost their lives back. However, there is some justice for the families in holding the responsible entities accountable to prevent somebody else from having to live the hell that they're living now. And so this is about both prevention and accountability, and at the end of the day, compensating families for what they're owed under the law.
Matt, can you tell us a little bit more about Mr. Hepburn? Without breaking any privacy rules, attorney-client privileges, we just want to know more about him. What was he doing at the time? I mean, who is he?
Yeah, and so Mr. Hepburn, as I said before, one of his primary concerns right now is that this is one of the largest stories in the world, and his privacy is important to him.
Well, I mean, was he going to work? I mean, because you said he was on his bike. Was he on his way to work? I mean, can you tell us just in general terms what his day was at the time, right before it happened, and before
Correct.
the light changed?
My client was on his way to work when the bridge collapsed. He specifically asked not to have his employer brought into this. He doesn't want to have any undue focus on his employer. But I can tell you that from speaking with him, his privacy is of the utmost importance to him, especially with something of this fun.
Can you tell us how he was rescued, maybe, or he was under the bridge completely, or how painful was it?
He was rescued as others were by the local ambulance. He was transported from the scene. He was on the south side portion of the bridge, so obviously there's complete failure on the north side of the bridge. He's on the south.
More news now, just moments away.
Was situated, and he was able to luckily not be crushed on that side of the structure as he was traveling.
Was he driving a car?
He was on a bicycle.
Matt, who is named in the lawsuit, and how long do you expect it to take before the public and your client gets some answers as to what company, where the failure happened, so on and so forth?
So our complaint has been filed this morning in Miami-Dade County as to the specific defendants. They're listed within the complaint. As far as the journey to justice and way of finding accountability and getting answers, this is the type of case that can go on for a number of years. From a civil vantage point, it really hinges upon how reasonable the responsible entities are going to be. Some lawyers settle all of their cases. We are from a different school where we try a lot of our cases. And the reason that we generally try our cases is because we find that responsible entities and their insurance carriers oftentimes would much prefer to keep money owed as opposed to paying money that's due. So in this particular instance, it could go on, it could be done quickly if fair and reasonable compensation is paid, or it could go on for a number of years.
Do you foresee pushing any more lawsuits? Do you have any more victims come forward?
Well, at this point, we're representing one individual. Any families that have been impacted this, we're happy to help in any way that we can. Our hearts and prayers go out to these individuals. But at this point in time, there's many families that are focused on the healing process. And so what we're doing on our end is ensuring that, like I said, that everything is secured now. Our spoliation letter, which is just a letter that you send to preserve evidence, is so advanced that it's not going to miss anything, especially when it comes to electronic data, emails, documentation. And so what happens in these cases is we send those to the responsible entities, and then their lawyers get involved and hire teams to make sure that that information is preserved. So should any family in the future want to make sure that they have all the answers, they'll be able to by the discovery that we'll
Can you
do.
tell us if Marquise has had any reaction to hearing that there is a voicemail that talks about cracks? There was a meeting apparently going on just a couple hours before this happened.
Well, I've surveyed a lot of the media coverage, which has been, on this particular incident, has been very well covered. And I think beyond Marquise's opinion, the overall consensus is why were vehicles allowed to travel underneath that bridge if the bridge might have been in a vulnerable state? So if there was a crack on the bridge, and if there was a meeting to address this particular crack on the bridge, and then potentially there was some post-tensioning work going on meant to test the stress distribution of the bridge, why was traffic not rerouted? That's the question that I think most people have right now. Everybody, when you go under a bridge that's under construction or any construction project, you assume the bridge is going to maintain elevated. Nobody in their wildest nightmare would imagine that the bridge is going to collapse on top of them. And so because people have that expectation of safety, and because they have that expectation that construction is going to be conducted in a way that's going to protect them, I think this shocks the public to their core, and that now they have to give that a second thought when they travel underneath the bridge. And Keith, you'd be able to...
It looks like a disaster film. You've all seen it. And it's not supposed to happen. Bridges aren't supposed to collapse on people driving under them or on their bikes or walking or whatever they're doing under them, let alone a new bridge. And we all know that. The question is how. You got two big questions. How in the world it happened, and why in the world wasn't traffic rerouted? And we aim to get answers to all of them. And we're on the path, and we're on it hot, and we have the resources and staying power and manpower and woman power to make sure we get the answers. And one thing I can guarantee you, they're coming.
Belvin, a question for you. In your experience on the bench, does it help when civil lawsuits come quickly to get to the bottom of things in a case like this? In other words, could this expedite the process?
Absolutely. By doing what we're doing, getting involved early on and seeking the answers to the question that Keith posed, you get a chance to get on the ground floor. You make sure that evidence does not disappear. So it's a tremendous factor in successfully navigating those waters of justice that you get involved early, and that's what we're doing. As Keith said, brand new bridge just doesn't collapse without something happening, and we're going to find those answers.
One question, please. Who is sharing responsibilities? Maybe the university, or a city inspector, or a county inspector, or the state? Who do you believe has more responsibility?
Well, our complaint speaks to every allegation that we believe to be accurate to the best of our knowledge with the information that we have, and so we would defer to the complaint that was filed this morning in that regard. As to FIU, FIU is a sovereign entity, which means that they are given a period of time in which we have to give them notice of a claim. In other words, if it's a state-run entity, you can't just bring suit against them immediately. You have to give them an opportunity to investigate, and you're unable to file suit against them until they formally deny the claim. And so with FIU, we are obligated to wait a statutory period of time for them to give us their position.
Now, was Marquise actually underneath the south part of the bridge when it came down?
That's correct.
Because the north part is the one that actually, so the south part was the one that was, there was still room to be under it. So he was actually underneath it when it came down?
That's correct. And then there was a vehicle, to the best of my understanding, the facts that have been relayed to me, there was a vehicle that also that had to veer to the right because the vehicle was about to be entrapped by the bridge itself. And then when that vehicle veered to the right, it struck Mr. Hepburn, sending him flying off.
And did he actually, so did he fall off his bike as a result? Was he hit by any of the
Correct.
crumbling cement as well?
Correct. Well, he doesn't, to him, it's all a blur. He knows that he was struck by a vehicle, landed off the bike, and then he's going in an ambulance.
Is he still hospitalized, or has he been released?
He's been released. He's under the care of a number of different doctors.
So at this point, you don't know exactly if a piece of the bridge hit him. So was it a collateral damage?
Correct. The facts that we know are what I've relayed to you.
Should your investigation show that there was negligence, would you like to see those people prosecuted as well as paying monetarily?
It's a little early to say that. There was a recent case in Seattle, matter of fact, in January of this year, where they filed a criminal case based upon a civil case that started in January of 2016 on a construction project where there was a cave-in in a trench where they found numerous safety violations. So it's a little early in the day to make a judgment on that. You're going to have to wait till all the evidence is in to determine whether or not there were in fact numerous safety violations involved in this particular case. So that is a possibility, but it's a little too early to make that determination without the complete investigation being done.
Can you repeat again, please? What is the content of the demand?
The content
of the lawsuit. The content of the lawsuit.
It was filed this morning and it's available for viewing. And that's all we have. That's all the time we have today.
By chance, can you happen to see your client? You know, there's that good dash cam video that really kind of shows it. Is your client visible in that at all, to your knowledge?
You know, we have a team of engineers and an engineering firm, as well as probably 10 lawyers that were working on this over the weekend. And our focus throughout the course of the investigation was the north side of the bridge and specifically different cables and different support systems that were there. There's one video that's enhanced to an extent that you can see that portion following a lot. The right side of the video is not visible. From what I can see, there was a vehicle that was obstructing the view on the right side to an extent. So, but we appreciate your all's time. Thank you for coming.
Just mark some housekeeping.